My wife emptied our retirement account to buy gifts for her lover. I wasn't even snooping. I swear. It was a boring Tuesday evening. She was on a business dinner, and I figured I'd finally get around to checking our joint retirement account. We had been planning a getaway, something small but meaningful for our 20th anniversary. Greece, maybe. Somewhere warm. Somewhere far from the chaos. I typed in the login like I always did. Then just like that. Balance $0. At first, I refreshed the page. Thought maybe it was a glitch. Tried again. Still zero. My stomach twisted. I went back through the transaction history, my hands shaking. That's when the pit in my stomach turned to a punch in the chest. The withdrawals were clean. Precise. Timed out over weeks. $8,000 here. $15,000 there. All leading to one shared account I didn't recognize. And then the purchases started showing up. Louboutin. Cartier. Luxury hotels. A payment for a Rolex. All within the last 3 months. My wife doesn't wear Louboutins. I've never seen her with a Rolex. And we sure as hell haven't stayed in a $1,200 a night hotel. I stared at the screen in disbelief. My heart pounding. The blood draining from my face. I called her. She didn't pick up. I checked her location. Off. But then something weird happened. One of the transaction emails had an address linked to a delivery confirmation, a boutique in Chicago. Not far from her conference last month. That's when something in me snapped. I stopped thinking like a husband. And started thinking like a man who'd just been robbed by the woman he trusted most. And that was just the beginning. You never really think it'll happen to you, right? That the person you share your bed with, the one who laughs at your stupid jokes, folds your socks, makes your coffee with just the right amount of sugar, is living a whole second life behind your back. After I saw the withdrawals, I couldn't sleep. My hands were clammy, my mind racing. The more I thought about it, the more I realized she'd been distant for months. Smiling less. Leaving earlier. Sleeping later. That night, I went through her iPad. Same password. She never bothered to change it. Her iMessages were synced. It was all there. Miss you already, babe. You left your cufflinks in my room again, lol. Got you that Tom Ford sent you like. Every word sliced me open. But nothing prepared me for the photos. Him. Shirtless. Wearing the watch I paid for. Them in a suite, champagne in hand, kissing like high schoolers. And then I froze. Because I knew him. He was my coworker. The one I told her not to worry about. Always over-friendly. Always cracking jokes. We had even invited him to our house once for dinner. My legs nearly gave out. She was draining our retirement to spoil another man, one I'd once called bro. My jaw clenched so hard it ached. I didn't cry. I couldn't. But that night, I made a decision. I wasn't going to explode. I was going to get even the smart way. I didn't scream. I didn't throw her phone across the room or break the wine glass I was holding. Instead, I made dinner. Yeah. I actually made her favorite creamy chicken Alfredo and garlic bread. She walked in from yoga, smiling, like she hadn't just torched our future over another man's cologne. She kissed my cheek. I let her. I played dumb, asked how her day went. She said, relaxing. I asked how her friend Brian from the office was doing. She smiled and said, still annoying as ever. I chewed slowly. Swallowed the bile rising in my throat. Over the next few days, I watched. I took screenshots. Printed bank statements. Copied receipts she thought she deleted. And when she fell asleep on the couch one night, I transferred her secret WhatsApp chat backup to my phone. Every lie she ever told me was there, time-stamped. Still, I said nothing. Not yet. Until tonight. We sat across from each other at the kitchen table, the one we picked out together after our 3rd anniversary. She was scrolling her phone, giggling. I slid the folder toward her. "What's this?" she asked, already nervous. "Investment paperwork," I replied. She opened it. First page. Our emptied retirement account. Second. Screenshots of her texts. Third. Hotel receipts. Last. A blown-up photo of her and my coworker tangled in bedsheets. She looked up at me, pale as death. "It's not what it looks like," she stuttered. "The money was for investments. I swear." That's when I leaned back and whispered calmly, "I know everything." Her face crumbled like dry paper. "So, remember how I said the guy she was spoiling with our retirement savings looked familiar? Yeah. That's because he's not just some guy. He's her boss. Let that sink in. The man who toasted us at her promotion party. The one who sent me a damn Christmas card with 'To Better Partnerships' written in gold cursive. He was the one she was calling Brian from work. Except it wasn't just work. Turns out, late meetings were hotel nights. Client dinners were candlelit dates. And those gifts were all luxury designer things I never even got in 10 years of marriage. So I did what any calm, broken, vengeful husband would do. I documented everything. Emails. Transactions. Pictures. Screenshots of texts like, "That massage gun was $300, but he'll never notice. He still thinks I'm investing in crypto. LMAO." I compiled it all into a neat little drive. And then I sent it to his company's HR department. Their corporate legal team. And for good measure, a few of their mutual work friends. The fallout? Immediate. He was fired within 48 hours. Something about ethics violations and abuse of power. She walked into the office 2 days later and was told to hand in her badge and laptop. And just like that, her fake empire crumbled. Funny thing is, she still didn't know how it all happened. She kept pacing the house, saying, "Why is this happening?" like she was the victim. She finally turned to me, mascara running down her face, and asked, "Did you do this?" I looked her dead in the eye. And said nothing. She came home that night, eyes puffy, hands shaking, makeup smeared like a cheap crime scene. "I lost everything," she sobbed. "They said they had evidence. HR called it gross misconduct. Brian's been fired too. What the hell is going on?" I didn't say a word. She dropped her bag, knelt in front of me, and grabbed my hands. "I messed up. But please. Please. Don't give up on us." Funny. She said "us" like it still existed. I stood up, walked to the bedroom, and zipped my already packed bag. No yelling. No drama. Just done. I had already locked down the rest of our joint accounts. Called my lawyer and filed for divorce. Rerouted my paycheck. Blocked her on every login that had my name attached. She followed me down the hall, crying louder now. "You're just going to leave? After all we've been through?" I paused by the door. "All we've been through?" I said quietly. "You mean everything I built while you were playing sugar mama with our retirement?" She tried to stop me. But I walked out. Not out of rage. Out of clarity. And she stood there, in the doorway, broken watching the man who once would have done anything for her walk away. For good. You don't realize how heavy a person is until you drop them. The first week after I moved out, I couldn't sleep. Not because I missed her but because I didn't recognize the quiet. No lies. No secrets. No drama. Just me. I started small. Opened a new savings account. Joined a gym. Got a therapist who didn't sugarcoat a damn thing. You didn't lose a wife, he told me. You dropped dead weight wrapped in a diamond ring. Brutal. But he was right. A few weeks later, an old college friend reached out. Laura. We hadn't spoken in years, but she saw a LinkedIn post I made about starting over. Said it hit her hard. We talked. Then talked more. No pressure. No flirting. Just real conversations. I didn't know how much I needed that. I started consulting again, financial literacy workshops. Ironic, I know. The man who got cleaned out by his own wife now teaching others how to protect their future. People loved it. My story made them listen. Then one day, I was invited to speak at a financial recovery seminar. Big hotel venue, catered, full crowd. I walked in, ready to speak my truth. And that's when I saw her. Front row. Pale. Smaller than I remembered. Her eyes locked on mine, shocked, maybe even proud. But I didn't flinch. I picked up the mic, smiled, and said, "Let me tell you how I lost everything. And why it was the best thing that ever happened to me." She waited until the crowd cleared. I just finished signing a few handouts, took a sip of water, and turned, and there she was. Same eyes. Same face. But none of the shine. "Can we talk?" she asked, voice barely above a whisper. I nodded. We stepped outside, the city lights painting the sidewalk in gold. She fumbled for words. "I was stupid," she began. "I lost everything chasing something that didn't even last. He left. My job's gone. My friends? Gone. I see your life now and..." I didn't interrupt. I let her say it all. When she was done, she looked up, desperate. "Do you think that there's any way to fix us?" I took a breath and said, "You didn't just break my heart, you gambled our future. And lost." She cried. I didn't. I just gave her a soft nod, turned, and walked back into the hotel. And in that moment, I realized something. I forgave her. But I never forgot. And I never looked back. I'm glad life still allows us to choose to decide who we become after the pain. Because if not, stories like mine would have ended in silence, not strength. Thank you so much for watching. Tell us what you think about this story and where in the world you're watching from. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And stay tuned for our next jaw-dropping story. Until then, protect your peace, and know your worth.